Hi, welcome to Case of the Day. This is the last case of this week. So, 8 weeks done. I didn't realize we would reach this um, kind of period. So, 30-second case. It's a long title. Three sinus bicuspid AV with AR with systolic dysfunction, fibrosis, and aortic aneurysm. So this is a 66-year-old was treated for coronary artery disease, had an ascending aorta aneurysm that I've shown here from our angio, but a CT aortogram had been done, completely worked up, but echo showed systolic dysfunction and a possible bicuspid aortic valve. And the MR was mainly for the systolic dysfunction, which on the short axis is very straightforward. So you can see that the septum and inferior wall show moderate hypokinesia in the basal and mid cavity regions, and those same segments show mid myocardial abnormal enhancement suggestive of fibrosis. And that's basically mechanical because of this aortic regurgitation where the jet is hitting the anterior mitral valve leaflet. And I thought on the short axis it looked really amazing where it was hitting the inferior part of the AV, and the flow studies using the phase contrast sequences showed a regurgitant fraction of 30. And then we did the transaxial, and there's this whole thing where the best way is to align it in a way that the RA and LA are at the the interatrial septum is at the 7 o'clock position. And when you look at it, it's clearly a three sinus or a tricuspid valve to begin with, but there's fusion of the right and left cusps, and so you have a bicuspid valve. So we call it a three sinus bicuspid valve, and you can see the static images here showing that. You can do planimetry, and here we see a valve area of 2.2 square centimeters. And so if you summarize the findings, we have a three sinus bicuspid AV with right left cusp fusion causing moderate to severe AR, in turn causing mechanical systolic dysfunction with fibrosis. And the same things are responsible for the aortopathy, where you have an ascending aorta dilatation. On a cardiac MR, we can see all of this, plus do the measurements, plus do aortic valve planimetry, plus do volume measurements of the LV, etc. Do flow measurements across the valve, measure end systolic diameters, etc. So there's a lot of information that we can get from a single cardiac MR that is targeted to this. I did an entire post as case 131 at mricardiac.com. All of this is free to view and all of that. And this video, which was on Vimeo, I have just uploaded on YouTube, so it's available for you to go through. I'm just discussing aortic regurgitation and its impact on the LV, and what are the findings that decide that there's adverse prognosis, etc. And then later I did an entire post on how to decode a bicuspid aortic valve, how to diagnose it, what are the different types, and what is it that cardiac MR brings to the table in such cases. So again, there's a lot of homework if you want to go through this, but that's just how it is. That's the case, and these are the various things that we can look at. That's my WhatsApp channel, and have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday night or evening, and take care.